I got to play Overwatch next support hero, Wuyang, early. Let's have a look. I have been holding on to a secret. I've been living a lie, and I need to apologize. See, back at the Overwatch Spotlight event in February, I got the chance to play Wuyang. But you know, I didn't want Aaron to send out a hitman, so... Maybe I should close the blinds. Now, before I dive into my personal experience, first let's have a look at the kit. Because earlier today, they finally dropped the gameplay trailer for Wuyang, and they gave the players a first look at his kit in action. And as many of you had guessed in the last few months, he has quite a lot in common with a certain other water wielder. Yet he brings some unique elements to the table. His main fire is called Shunwu's Staff. He can use his staff to fire a damaging water orb at an enemy target. However, once he has shot the orb, he can actually control the trajectory. And you do that by holding your fire button and kind of moving it around, which allows you to shoot the orb around obstacles, corners, massive German crusaders. And on top of that, it will help you to amplify the explosion damage. It is pretty nifty and quite unique. I like it. His secondary fire or right click is called Restorative Stream, and it also has a few layers to it. You can choose to put the stream on a friendly target and just move on, and at that point there will be some healing, a passive heal that takes pretty slow. However, if you choose to hold the stream on that target by keeping the button pushed in and aiming at them, that healing will tick at an improved rate, but it will also consume your healer resource. It's kind of like a mix between Zenyatta and Moira. It's interesting. Now, let's move on to his abilities. He is called Guardian Wave, and it is basically a wave of water that he can splash over friendly targets, and that will increase all of the healing on that target, while also knocking back the enemies it hits, which kind of sounds like an Ana Flask, but then with some type of knockback. The thing is, the way you deploy it is very different. It is quite a unique mechanic. His left shift is called Rushing Turret, and that is where the Aang of the Avatar Last Airbender vibe really starts to kick in. Wuyang can create a small wave of water that he can ride forward to move faster, but also to help him jump up higher. It is really like you would imagine it. Now, Wuyang does not seem to have his own proper passive, but he does of course have an ultimate, Tidal Blast. It's kind of like a watery time bomb. You can put it on yourself or on an ally, and it will protect you or the ally for a short time before it actually explodes. Now, when it explodes, it will knock back anybody around the target, but it also will do a huge amount of healing on said target. This is not the type of ultimate that you will pop as soon as you get it, or as soon as there is a bit of an opportunity. It is an ultimate that you hold on to for that one critical moment. An ultimate that requires you to be 3 steps ahead of both the enemies, but also of your own teammates. You'll have to plan around it, and that can be said about his whole kit. But before we dive into my personal experience, besides the trailer, they also released an ability sheet that included the perks for Wuyang. Quite important. The minor ones are called Overflow and Balance. Balance will give you 10 ammo and 33% healing resource upon activating Rushing Torrent. So as you rush in, you'll be ready to react. I like that idea. Balance, on the other hand, will give your passive healing a 40% boost for 2 seconds when you deal damage with your water orbs, pushing that whole hybrid agenda a little bit for Wuyang. The first major perk is called Ebb and Flow, which actually makes your Guardian Wave rewind to its starting position, so you get hit twice. But the second time with 50% decreased damage. It sounds like a neat trick though. And Falling Rain allows you to control 3 orbs at the same time, with 60% decreased damage and a 25% decreased empowered explosion radius. 3 orbs? Seriously? It's difficult enough already. Blizzard had hinted in the last few weeks that there's a steep learning curve with this hero, and I concur. It is going to be a difficult hero to get into. I mean, the orb is a ton of fun, but it does require practice. Especially if you want to start pulling off those trick shots around corners and whatnot. Yeah, you're going to miss a few. The Restorative Stream requires a lot of game sense, awareness. Because if you just start healing full throttle, you're going to be running out of resources pretty fast. You can't be too generous with that stream. Yet, you need to keep up with all of the damage that is happening. If you want your team to win, you'll have to step up. And it is going to require fast thinking. You'll have to do triage on who you put a passive heal and who deserves your full attention. Guardian Wave is a satisfying ability with a nice impact, no pun intended. But I can tell you this much, I missed a few of those waves. And I'm not even going to address the clumsy stuff I got up to with that Rushing Torrent. It wasn't pretty. My first playtest was not a success, to say the least. which definitely did not help with my healing output and had me worried a tiny bit. But you know what? First off, while most of the kit is still the same as the one that we played a few months ago, the numbers are definitely going to be different. And second, just plain and simple, this is a hero that requires skill. It requires dedication, practice. In my opinion, it's the most challenging support that we've seen in game today. So me personally, for now, I'm going to stick to the rest of the roster. I mean, I'm definitely going to give him a try, but something tells me that I'm going to make a huge fool of myself. Even more than usual. That is saying a lot. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm very excited for Wuyang. We need a support like this that is different, that is challenging, that gives talented players something to work with. I'm actually looking forward to seeing a skilled Wuyang almost dance over the objective, slapping those enemy players around with huge waves of water while keeping his own teammates hydrated and healthy. Beautiful. Now, I'm not sure I'm going to be just as enthusiastic when that Wuyang is on the enemy team, but I'll just deal with that tantrum once we get there. I would place him really close to Moira. I think we're going to see plenty of Wuyang DPS players. The type of players that will dive your backline, stun your supports, and take him out with a few orbs. And on the other end, good luck to the Genjis and Reapers that have to deal with him. It's going to be so much fun. On a slightly different note, I can't wait to see his cosmetics. If we don't get a skin, a legendary skin, that at least hints at Aang a tiny bit, I'm going to be really disappointed. Just saying. But anyways, what do you think about Wuyang's kit? And are you going to try him out? Let me know in the comments, or come tell me during my streams. I stream over at twitch.tv/Deemzies. Come join us. For now, however, that was it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It always helps me out. I also want to thank my patrons and YouTube members. You too can become a member over on patreon.com/theomnicpost and right here on YouTube to unlock exclusive rewards. If you have a few minutes left, maybe check out one of my other videos. But above all, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Bye bye.